عقدت منظمة أكت ألاينس اجتماعاتها السنوية لبرنامج العدالة بين الجنسين والبرنامج الإنساني في لبنان بتسهيل من مجلس كنائس الشرق الأوسط بين 18 و 25 أيلول سبتمبر 2022. ضم وفد أكت ألاينس المشارك مسؤولون وموظفون من كل أنحاء العالم. في البرنامج زيارة مكاتب الأمانة العامة لمجلس كنائس الشرق الأوسط، اجتماعات حول البرنامج الإنساني وبرنامج العدالة بين الجنسين، زيارة البرامج الإنسانية وتدريب حول العدالة بين الجنسين لموظفي أكت ألاينس، التي تحدث خلاله بعض المشاركين عن عدد من القضايا الملحة. التحضيرات للذهاب نحو قمة التغير المناخي كوب 27 في مصر شرم الشيخ على رأس أولويات لأكت ألاينس، فما هي؟
We are working with a large delegation of ecumenical actors, churches and faith-based organizations that we as the ACT Alliance Secretariat are coordinating, usually a delegation of around 70 people minimum. We are very strongly engaged in the inner negotiation circle of a couple of negotiating blocks to influence the outcome documents. That is currently very strong focus. But at the same time, we are also working with members, with young people in various from churches and ACT member organizations to create momentum towards COP27 to really increase the political will on this issue and to move forward on this issue.
الوفد اطلع في العمق على مأساة لبنان من الانهيار الاقتصادي إلى انفجار مرفأ بيروت وتداعياته والتحديات الاجتماعية الملحة.
I think we are very clear here from the situation we see in Lebanon with the current very strong economic crisis that pre-existing inequalities are being exacerbated to a very strong extent. The second is that we see that the mode of humanitarian assistance in which we've been in, on the one hand, due to the refugee situation from Syria, for example, and from other neighboring countries, has not changed a lot within the country. And the third thing I would see is that within this, our members are trying to, and the port blast, I'd say, is also still affecting here, at least in Beirut. But we are still in a humanitarian assistance mode where we should actually be already moving towards a longer-term cooperation mode.
I've joined ACT at a time of really exciting change in that we have our revised humanitarian policy that was approved by the board last year and has become operational this year. And in that policy there's a whole package of reforms that we're currently implementing, really designed to put our local and national members especially at the center of our humanitarian mechanism. One of those most important reforms is the rapid response funding, the ORF funds, which are exclusively for local and national members, and is designed to really allow ACT to be at the forefront of high quality, locally led humanitarian response. A big thank you to MECC for hosting our visit, which has been taking place over the past few days. I personally visited the camp in El Shafira here in Beirut, and saw firsthand the impact of the current economic crisis that's affecting Lebanon and how that's impacting on very vulnerable families in El Shafira camp. And I suppose what perhaps is not recognized internationally is, or maybe not acknowledged to the degree it could, is the protracted nature of this crisis, in that we're talking about events from almost 70 years ago that are still playing out in real life in people's lives in the camp today. So it was quite, in many ways, it really brought home the need to sort of coordinate advocacy for the rights of people living in the camp. And to try to find solutions in that this situation is ongoing, but also we saw the strength of the committees in the camps, the strength of the people in terms of their resilience. and then the importance of the work of actors such as MECC to build on that resilience.
العدالة بين الجنسين من ورش العمل الأساسية التي عمل عليها الوفد وبحث في التحديات المطروحة غرباً وشرقاً.
There are so many things to be thought about that this normally it could be seen, these situations with women or violence against women, rape and harassment could be seen as a secondary moment, secondary crisis, a secondary thing to be solved in a big conflict situation. But actually this is the first thing that are threatening women. So crisis cannot be classified.
العدالة المناخية لم تخب أيضاً عن المباحثات.
I think this is again another situation that climate injustices or climate changes are affecting women and gender, the whole gender components in a different way. Women are again in a vulnerable situation because of the situation of an economic already system that is putting women as those that are in less conditions of work, less conditions of access of education, the conditions of access to health are more difficult. The whole climate problematic, the climate change situation will affect women in a different form, and sometimes in a stronger form, of raising awareness among church community, faith people, that this is happening. It's not that will happen next month, next year, next generation. It is happening with us, and the awareness that we need to address it as a faith people, as a people who have a commitment to maintain, to care for creation.
As the years go on, we came to realize that humanitarian funding will not always be as sufficient as we would like it to be. So sometimes you have a small pot of funding, we get like 20, 30, 40 or 50%, and we need to use this money in an efficient and effective way. And also we need to target to the most vulnerable persons who are affected. And to do this, we have to do an assessment, and we have to pick those elements from the community. It's useful because we work through church members, and also the national members are also very widespread. Very closely, we also support members to do the disaster risk reduction or resilience building, so that the next time there's a drought or the next time there's a flood, they are stronger and more able to cope with the sudden emergency compared to before. Yes, we visited several households that were affected by the blast, and especially those ones who had a business that they were depending on for their livelihood. For example, we met a woman who had a salon in her shop, and she was using it as income for the house. She's the main breadwinner because her husband was disabled. She has 4 children, and her children are in school. So through the support from the ACT Alliance, the woman was able to rebuild her salon and continue to get her customers, making her able to stand and withstand even future shocks that come up.